Okay, I'm gonna make this video. I'm just gonna do it this way. I'm not really sure what the hell is going on with my video. So this is part 2 of the Beyond the Misappropriation of Goddess and Goddess Culture. Part 1 is in the Facebook group, and I don't want to go all the way over it again. But I was sharing my story of my religious journey and why I am encouraging women not to be afraid. No matter what headline that you see out there about goddess, this goddess thing is not something commercial. Goddess, when you look at the word goddess, it means God. Well, it doesn't mean that, sorry. But you can see the etymology of God is, right? But goddess is just a woman who is in possession of herself. In our ancient times and stuff, we didn't use the word, when I say ancient, I'm talking about ancient Kemet. We didn't necessarily use the word gods and goddesses like that because there were queens, there were kings. So when we start to talk about Oshun and such, you see me squirming because I'm not only am I dealing with this technology issue, but I'm having some interesting QL pain. And so it causes me to squirm a little bit. Woo. And so I probably will end this shortly, but I want you all to know that your journey is so much richer when you ask questions, when you seek to discover and seek to say, well, what does this mean? What do I see here? It becomes the practical application of all of the sciences, because there is both, in spirituality, it's both an art and a science. If you have only the art, then you kind of get mysticism and you get just the light worker's point of view, that it's supposed to be utopia, that it's just all love and light. But you can't have the balance. Just like there's yin and yang, there is the dark, the shadow. And oftentimes we avoid the shadow because we've been taught that things are evil. So that, therefore, if you go online and you read, and you're still a baby Christian or something, or you grew up hearing for years that this is witchcraft, this is not of God, this is that, this is whatever, then you're going to be afraid of the shadow or the dark because it's been taught that the dark is evil. And this is where a lot of melanated people are considered. Think about the people who created that philosophy that this was evil, because they consider you, if you're a dark person, a person of color, to be evil as well. And so words have power. And that's not just a religious saying. Words have power because they actually are vibration. It is the way that you do communicate with and beyond with source energy. That's the best way that I can say without using a whole lot of words. But what about the person who can't talk? And what about the person who can't see? How do they access the divine? So we're not even limited to even just words. So even after I share what these words mean in etymology, it's not to say, that we have to be stuck there. It just simply means, okay, now that gives me an access to study a little bit more. What I was going to tell you earlier about the goddesses is that just like Oshun has colors assigned to her, then we start to get into the assignment of energies, and they also correspond with planets. She's represented by the planet Venus. Each deity can be aligned with the planets. There are some people who talk against astrology, yet we operate in an orbit, a universe. And then there's also mathematical formulas that can be applied to all of this. And so this is when you start to see the teachings of we are one. We are all connected. And so this feminine journey, the reason why I connected so deeply to our spiritual process and our spiritual liberation and the liberation of our families is because when you can begin to support and celebrate another woman, you begin to open up something in yourself. But not only that, when you begin to celebrate and open up something in yourself, then you don't ever have to stop. And what is designed for you, what needs to be revealed to you, will be revealed, and where you need to go. And it is very much connected to your DNA. It's very much connected to what foods you should be eating. It's very much connected to where you should live on the grid, on this globe. It's very much connected to who you should marry. How, what kind of energy complements you. It's very much connected to what kind of work that you will do. Because many of us are not in our assignments. We're not operating in our assignments, and that's why we keep running into these walls of ourselves. And so this is a beginning point. This is only the beginning point, right? You're not relegated to staying the same. If that worked, then why hasn't it changed the condition of our people? And the condition, now when I say of our people, I'm talking about the collective, because now that's another thing that I am releasing, that whole thing around our people. First of all, it's a possessive pronoun. They don't belong to me. They belong to God. They belong to themselves, and they are responsible for themselves. And so if I can release my attachment to it being mine, then I can also release my attachment to those who do not desire to change, those who are impediments to our forward motion as a nation. I'm more concerned about our nation representation, our nationality, I represent, and when I say representation, I specifically mean in the UN, in the United Nations, because when you are a stateless people, a people without a nation, what is keeping it in place? And a lot of this has to do with our religiosity, those dogmas that hurt, not help. And when you look at some of the things that we practice in the religions, they are very alchemical in nature, and you can't have a church and not see the practices of African tribes who sang, who danced, who prayed. You see it in the communion. The communion is represented also in the practices in the church. You see it represented in the sacraments. Again, depending on, what your tradition is, you see it represented in the sacraments. Even for those who are in Judaism, they set an ancestor plate for the different prophets. And so when you see a person setting an ancestor plate for their particular grandfather, grandmother, or someone who's gone on, how is that witchcraft? And the only way that you can know is to try God. The word says, try me, test me, prove me. See, won't I open up a window and pour you out a blessing that you don't have room to receive? Why does it say that? When you try me, test me, prove me. What do you think that means? You think it just means when you go to get a promotion and you've said your prayers and because you tithe at church? Well, that works for systematic oppression and to keep you doing the same thing. But that doesn't necessarily work when you begin to ask questions about how can I shift the generational pattern, like the songs from Beyonce's journal or her mind or the stories that she's heard from other women. So again, this is not to defend Beyonce, but it is more to really invite all of us forward. And so what I intend to do is to start having more topics that, are connected to our journey as women. And hopefully I'll get a chance to hear from you. Womanhood Wisdom Wednesday. Hopefully I can even do some demonstrations of some things. And I want to do it here in the group because I do believe that what we do is sacred and should not be. It should be people who say, I want to be in this space. And then once you say, I want to be in a space, show up in the damn space. I'm just so sick of the excuses that we have for not showing up. I understand we're busy. I understand that, you know, those of you who have certain jobs, you are totally swamped and bombarded with that. But when you begin to start your spiritual journey, the biggest thing that a lot of us have to learn is the commitment. Everything can't be done at our convenience. So just jumping up out of bed and getting into your day is no longer working for you if you have children that have learning disabilities or children who are challenging. You know, you're going to have to do another kind of work with yourself and with your household. And it may require you to get up earlier in the morning. It may require a diet change. If you have an assignment on your life, a call on your life, and you want to go to the next level of your life, it also may require a diet change so that you can handle the capacity of your calling. Oh, that's good. That's one of the things that I got when I was detoxing the last few months, is being able to handle the capacity of your calling. That does require another level of self-care. When you want to access any part of your spiritual journey, it does require another level of your presence. And so it's not just Facebook that I'm ever talking about when I say show up. I'm talking about the power of learning the skill of showing up in your life, using your voice, not just finding your voice, but using your voice to serve you and to explore, not to be right, not to prove your worth, but to use your voice in a way that can open up rather than shut down. I could go on and on, because there's been so many access points that I continue to find in my journey. And I want all of you who are on it to be able to experience it, to be loved while you're experiencing it, to be in pleasure, on purpose, and have passion about what it is that you are experiencing. So I hope you all will join us tonight. I'm doing a special call tonight because this has been a stressful time. And we need to know how to manage stress and the effects that stress has on our love, sex, money, our ability to manifest, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to end this video so that it'll stay short. And I am going to process a little bit. Why are these challenges showing up with my technology? Because it's not just my technology. You all know that I look for that message, and I'm not normally as unedited, and so it could be my own. Well, I don't even feel any fear. I don't feel any resistance, you know, or any of that. So you all know how, those of you who know, when you're up for something big, when you're getting ready to go to the next level, you're gonna hit challenges. And so I'll figure this out. And if you have any suggestions on how to improve my technology, I am so open to it. I may just have to start using my actual camera to record, so that I won't be relying on an internet feed. So I love you all though, and I look forward to hearing your comments, hearing from you tonight. Please join us tonight. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Ciao, everyone.